I know that as a human being, we often avoid discussing sensitive issues, but here is the truth. Sensitive issues are usually the most pressing and they demand our immediate attention. Ignoring them doesn't make them disappear. In fact, unresolved sensitive in quotation marks, unresolved sensitive issues can have a devastating effect on our well-being. One such issue is marital conflict. Many people shy away from talking about marital issues. They are afraid of offending others or being seen as airing their dirty laundry in public. But let me tell you something. Marriage is the single most important institution in life. When marriage is right, everything else tends to fall into place. It is so dear to God that Paul compared it to the love Christ has for the church in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22 to 33. On the other hand, anything God cherishes, the enemy opposes. The devil hates marriage and has devised many unsustainable coping mechanisms that only delay deeper healing in relationships. Recently, I came across a study by the Barna Group, a highly reputable research organization. Their findings were very revealing. It shows that couples who pray together regularly report over 85% satisfaction in their marriages. That is powerful statistics. However, the same study also found that 70% of Christian couples report being unhappy in their marriages. Many remain together not out of joy or love, but simply because of doctrinal teachings against divorce. In many religious communities, divorce is heavily stigmatized. So what happens is people stay in unhappy marriages due to social and religious pressure. But this doesn't mean they are happy. Far from this. Instead of enjoying marriage, they enjoy it. We endure marriage, we don't enjoy marriage. That is very heartbreaking. God said in Malachi chapter 2, verse 16, I hate divorce. But the real question is, when does divorce truly begin? Is it only when we file the paperwork in the divorce court? Or is it when couples abandon their marital vows? Like, you can abandon your marital vows emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. Paul offered some insights in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 15. I love Paul. He's my favorite Bible character. He knows how to address issues directly. He says, and I quote, "But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases. God has called us to peace." What does this departure mean? Is it only physical, or it could also mean emotional or spiritual neglect? The truth is, many people are single within their marriages. That's very sad. Living together physically, but completely disconnected in every other ways. That is a form of divorce in disguise. If you truly believe that God hates divorce, then don't abandon your marital vows. Don't emotionally or spiritually neglect your partner. God created marriage to be enjoyed, not to endure. So in a nutshell, what is the solution to marital conflict? The answer is forgiveness, which I consider it to be the greatest act of kindness. We must learn how to forgive, forget, and make conscious effort not to repeat the same mistake. Marriage is on life support if there is no forgiveness. Marriage that does not embrace forgiveness does not exist in God's eyes. May the good Lord grant us joyful marriages that overflow into lives of our children, our health, our finances, our career, and ultimately our community. Amen.